Okay, so we'll just talk through what we took to Greenland in terms of clothes that we'd wear on a daily basis, and basically when we wore them, how we wore them, and what we thought of them. Yeah.
So obviously all our gear is Rab, because we got it all through you guys at Trekitt, and you recommended Rab would be the best thing. And then I went out to Norway and spent some time with a guy called Petter Thorson, he's like a polar ninja, and like he kind of sat down with me and he went through kind of like what you need your clothes to be doing out in Greenland. And like the big thing is, the major thing out there is like sweating is a no-no. So whereas like on previous expeditions we'd be sweating like mad all the time, we overexerting ourselves like it's a no. There's like an ancient Greenland saying like the Inuit use, and it's if you sweat you die, and that is like key. So so like our clothing had to kind of be built up to keeping the heat in, but making sure it was not going to hold the moisture and it was not going to make us sweat. So with that in mind, that's where.
So as Ant said, you have to bear that in mind all the time, and therefore you can't just rest on your laurels and wear the same outer stuff every day. You have to really think about what the temperature is outside, how much you're exerting yourself, and what your temperature is inside, and then wear the appropriate stuff accordingly. But I think because of the temperatures in Greenland, the things that didn't change much was what we were wearing on our base layers. They were pretty much on for the duration. So you can imagine what they smelled like when we finished. So these are Rab Merino base layers. We wore the bottoms. I
think we wore, like at the start we had just one pair of those on, and then when we got higher up and the temperature dropped down to below -25, like that's when we doubled up on the Merino, the base layers. And
they were really good. I thought they were really good. I mean, this pair has cracked the Greenland crossing. So these were on for sort of 30 days straight, skiing 12 hours a day in the tent, in your sleeping bag at night. They held up to the challenge pretty well. I don't think there's any.
They wick the moisture very well. Like with regards to moisture, like I'll probably keep going on about it, but moisture conducts heat 25 times faster than air. So if you've got a little bit of sweat on you, like that's fine for when you're skiing, but the minute you stop, you're in -20 odd, you're going to lose that heat 25 times faster. So that is why we got hammered on making sure you're not exerting yourself too much. Like Petter even said to us, like just do everything like you're a polar bear, just mega slow, clumsy, like just real smooth movements and not exerting yourself and doing your best not to sweat. And this clothing was great for
really
that.
Good.
It transferred the heat very well.
And I think the only there's a bit of wear in the crotch. That's it. So that's not bad for what 700k or something. It's not bad. So really good bit of kit, I would say.
On top of that, we were wearing, it was the Rab Pertex. It was like the Rab Pertex bottoms. I can't remember which ones they were, but they were the top end ones, weren't they? Paul gave us along with that and the jacket that goes with it.
So these bad boys, basically, pretty handy as an outer layer, aren't they? These with the base layer underneath pretty much served us good to go for the duration.
The main thing for us was the wind resistance for those, because when the wind hits, that's your temperature is getting sapped massively. So they kept our temperature in. And we could vent them, so when we were skiing and it was a bit sunny, they had the zips down the side so we could vent them to let the air out, let the heat out.
These pockets on the front are pretty good as well. You can just bang your gloves straight down in each one, so that you can, or your mitts, if you need to take your mitts off, you can have each mitt in each pocket and literally put your hands in, grab your mitts and take them out. So they're pretty handy. All the seams and all of that stood up mega well.
Taped, didn't they?
All taped and pretty solid.
There's just a little bit of wear, I think, where I had like my head torch or something in the pocket, obviously rubbing.
Yeah.
Apart from that, they were fairly bond.
Yeah, and all the bottom of the cuffs mega reinforced, hardly anywhere on there. So mega recommend these. These are a solid bit of kit, and they served us pretty well. We haven't got it with us, but we had the top version of this, the jacket version, and we had a fur buff put around the hood. That was same as these, really, really good. Stood up to everything really well, except for one of my zips on my chest zip sheared off probably within maybe the first 10 days or something like that.
Yeah.
That was it.
They were good. So the fur is the idea behind that is to make a microclimate around your face to kind of protect like the end of your nose and your eyes and stuff from the weather, which it does really well. But obviously when the weather comes in really hard, that's where things like your balaclavas come in. So we would wear these pretty much most days when the wind started to pick up, then the wind chill factor was fairly massive. So we'd be donning, we had these Rab balaclavas, we'd be donning them along with a set of goggles. And these were pretty good. The only thing I can say about these is obviously like when you're breathing out, the moisture is created, and you sometimes get a whole load of frozen water around your mouth, like.
Yeah, so they came in handy. I'd say we actually got these for the Papua New Guinea expedition, for when we were up in the mountains in PNG, because there's some high peaks up there. It goes to like 4,500 meters in PNG. So
what is it?
We were, don't know. It's like a synthetic.
It's like a lightweight synthetic
insulation jacket. Yeah. The awesome thing about these is if you get them wet, they still provide you with a load of warmth. And we weren't sure how useful this would be in Greenland because they're quite thin. But what we wanted was a jacket we could just put on over all our kit when we stopped, because our routine, as Ant said, sweating is a no-no, so we had to try and take it as steady as we could. So our routine was an hour on, 10 minutes off, was it?
Yeah, and then in that 10 minutes off, you obviously when you get cold, you're losing so much energy, so you want to be conserving that energy, conserving that warmth. So as soon as we stop, like, it's fairly basic.
Yeah, this would go straight on top of the kit we had, and for the size and weight of it, the amount of warmth that this provided when we stopped was insane.
Yeah.
And there was, through all the footage from our Greenland expedition, there's very few times where you'll see Ant and I not skiing without one of these on, because they just give you that extra barrier, just keep you warm enough until you've got the tent up or you're about to head off again. So these, I think, invaluable bit of kit, this one, isn't it?
Amazing. Yeah. Probably highest rated bit of kit.
Yeah, I agree.
And then we had the Megatron.
Yeah, the Beast.
The Beast. So we had the Rab Expedition suit in two parts, so the trousers and the jacket. And we honestly didn't wear these that much, but there was a few occasions where like they were invaluable.
Yeah.
So we had, I think, like one day of the. Did we have a weather day, or we skied like
every day?
We skied every day, but there was one day the storm was so bad we had to call it after about 5k. And then like every hour, every couple of hours, we had to leave the tent to make sure we weren't getting buried in snow, and that's when we donned these. And yeah, they're just like wearing a big hug.
Yeah,
they're amazing.
Yeah, and I think, as well as the actual impact that you have when you're wearing these, the other thing that it gives you is it's like a warm fuzzy feeling that you've got some real solid protection if things go wrong. You know, if something happened to the tent, if it got compromised or we lost the tent, with this on underneath, you'd be all right. You'd be able to stay warm. So it's kind of like, it's a bit of an emergency. It's a bit of an emergency provision as well, but I mean,
because I mean, it's worth saying, like, if like our drills with a tent, like was to make sure our tent was, you know, kept safe at all times, because if that tent goes, like, you're fairly screwed in bad weather. So like, these were like a real emergency backup in case like all else like failed. and they were fairly nice to stick on if it was when it was really, really cold, like in an evening.
Yeah, and same with the mitts. Like for the most part, we were using some Norwegian homemade woolen mitts that were recommended to us by our polar mentor. But these were like really, really good for if you got caught out. You know, we'd have to. There's a couple of times where we had to sew the tent in the weather because of little rips. Times where tent pegs were bent and we had to bend them back into shape. Just times where where you had to get your hands, you had to compromise your hands and they get cold. And these were so good for when the tent's up, your hands are struggling back in the tent. Get them in here, and it wouldn't be long before they're warmed up again. So these are the same. They're sort of just that extra bit of protection, just to keep your hands safe and get them heated up once you're in the tent again. So they're really useful as well.
And then we had this Rab hoodie, which was just that. I don't think we ever wore this when we were skiing, but it was just on an evening, just something to put on underneath the lightweight jacket when we're just sat in the tent. Nice, comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah.